Assalamu alaikum and hello. A very good day will be to you, madam. Today we would like to present a mini report project entitled Biogas Plant. My name is Nuraliya Binti Zaidi. Joining me today are my teammates.
My name is Adila Binti Rozman.
My name is Aqila Binti Mohamad.
My name is Binti Azman. My name is Qamarina Binti Shukri.
Hello, my name is Suraya Binti Anuar Zaidi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aqila Binti Mohamad, and today my team and I will be presenting on our mini project. So firstly, our company is going by the name Kani's Biogas Production Syndrome Berhad. So initially, we had come up with 3 different project proposals. Firstly is to produce cooking oil, cosmetics, soaps, and detergents from palm oil. As we know, Malaysia is the world's largest exporter of palm oil. So Malaysia plays an important role in fulfilling the growing global need for oils and fats sustainably. However, the production of palm oil is time-consuming and it is very costly. This is because to produce palm oil, it requires many different steps, and each steps requires different equipments. And also, the market value for palm oil has decreased. The second project that was proposed was to convert plastic waste into a high-quality oil to act as a substitute to diesel engine. This is also a very good way to tackle the explosive growth of plastic waste and disposal problems. It undergoes a process called pyrolysis, and temperature plays an important role in determining the characteristics of the oil being produced from the plastic waste. Thirdly, the project that we have chosen is to produce biogas from animal manures and also food crops. This was highly suggested as it is a substitute to cooking oil and fertilizers. This project also brings a lot of benefits. For example, it reduces water pollution, it is simple, and it is eco-friendly.
Now, moving on to the feasibility study, it is parted into 2 parts, which are technical evaluation and also economic evaluation. So firstly, we'll start with the technical evaluation. As you can see in the technical evaluation, there's a process selection. This process selection is actually really important as it will signify as to why we propose biogas plant as part of our proposal in the chemical plant. Firstly, it meets with our purposes simply to reduce organic waste and also to improve one's health. Rather than the waste being disposed of in a landfill, it's best if we benefit and transform it into a biogas. Next, a little visualization as to what the biogas plant is all about is that it's a system that converts waste into a renewable energy for homes and also produce fertilizer for the garden. There are 3 types of waste that will be fed into our biogas system, which are simply food waste, animal manure, and also energy crops.
Process of the biogas plant. Process 1, 2, 3, the raw material that will be used is food waste, animal manure, and energy crops. Process 4, the biowaste will enter the mixing tank. The components will be blended and kept before anaerobic process happens. Process 5, in fermenter 1, bacillus subtilis is used as part of the digestion. Fermenter 1 is a fermenter of food waste. Process 6, Salmonella sp is used in fermenter 2 for fermentation of animal manure. In fermenter 3, process 7, acetogen is used for fermentation of crops. Process 8, at the top of fermenter 1 tank, there's a roof for floating drum. It is to contain all the produced biogas in the bin tank. Process 9, all the gas kept will then flow into the gas holder. Process 10, the gas will be supplied as renewable gas. Process 7, the remaining residue from the fermentation of the tank will flow to the residue storage tank. It will be utilized as fertilizer. Process 12, the liquid fertilizer produced is a high-quality fertilizer with lower viscosity.
Burning of fossil fuel emits carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is detrimental to the Earth's atmosphere. This is why biogas is produced. Biogas is a renewable energy due to the fact that it contains methane and also carbon dioxide as its principal constituent. However, biogas contains contaminants and also impurities such as carbon dioxide. So to increase the quality of the biogas for further use, carbon dioxide needs to be removed. So this is the methods to remove carbon dioxide to upgrade biogas production. So it is classified into two, which is sorption and also separation. Sorption uses a process such as absorption and also adsorption, while separation uses the process of membrane separation and also cryogenic separation.
Next, I will explain about reactor. For our chemical biogas plant, we will gonna use bioreactor which is anaerobic digester. As we know, anaerobic digestion is a process where microorganisms break down organic compounds in anaerobic environment and produce biogas. For this process, it consists four major key stages, which are hydrolysis, acidogenesis, acetogenesis, methanogenesis. Complete mixed reactor, or we call it as CMR, is one of the type of common anaerobic digestion system. Why we choose CMR as our reactor in this process? Because it covers 10 with mixing, suitable for heated, mesophilic or thermophilic range 15 to 20 day HRT, 2 to 10% solid input. The advantage of CMR are very efficient, can digest different level of dry matter content, may take energy crops, good with mixing, good in solid degradation.
Process condition. First, temperature. Mesophilic condition 20 degrees C until 45 degrees C. Thermophilic condition 50 degrees C until 65 degrees C. Particle size. The smaller the particle size, the larger the surface area will make the reaction faster and consume less time. This is also increase the gas generation and reduce the amount of residue. Residence times. Residence times is the time needed to complete degradation of the organic material. This depends on the organic waste. Feedstock. The feedstock is the most important thing that needs to be considered. The more digestible the material, the higher the gas yield possible from the system. pH. The optimum pH for the anaerobic digestion is in range of 6.4 until 7.2. The optimum pH for metanogen is 6.6 until 7.0. Activator and inhibitor. Activators can enhance the biogas production, while inhibitor can reduce the biogas production. Carbon and nitrogen ratio. In order to make anaerobic digestion effective, the carbon to nitrogen ratio should be maintained between the range 20 to 30.
Okay, now we proceed with the process data. Biogas is produced when organic matter, such as food waste and animal manure, biodegrades under anaerobic condition the absence of oxygen. So throughout the process of production of biogas, safety precautions should be taken into account as biogas composed of methane and carbon dioxide, which can cause an explosion, disease, and asphyxiation. So as we know that Malaysia is one of the biggest biogas hub in Asia, and even in worldwide itself, biogas production increased from 2012 until 2022 because most of the people use biogas for cooking gas and the fertilizer.
So energy efficiency is a tool for measuring and comparing the performance of biogas plants. Global warming is a phenomenon, climate change, which in other words, it is a general increment of the temperatures of the earth. If no action is taken, it would have harmful consequences to humanity and also the biosphere. Renewable energy is one of the promising solutions. Anaerobic digestion for biogas production is a promising renewable energy technology which can be used to achieve environmental goals. Biogas can be produced from a number of different substrates. Some substrates are easier digested than others, and there are still many improvements that could be made to the process to get more biogas out of the same amount of substrate. Furthermore, for some substrates such as organic waste, there are alternative processes that could be employed to convert energy such as gasification and combustion. Energy is an essential factor in development since it stimulates and supports economic growth and development. Fossil fuels, especially oil and natural gas, are finite in extent and should be regarded as depleting assets, and efforts are oriented to search for new sources of energy.
We go to equipment needed. There are 5 major equipment needs for our chemical plant, which are mixing tank, digester or fermentation tank, floating cover, residue and storage tank, and lastly is gas holder. For mixing tank is a machine container that is used to blend various components together. The tank is made out of stainless steel, which is the common one. For fermentation tank, anaerobic digestion uses the process of fermentation to break down organic matter from animals, plants, or sewage to produce biogas. The process takes place within a centralized system in a unit called an anaerobic digester, also known as a biogas reactor. Next is floating cover. Floating types cover move vertically in the tank and are designed to float either on the liquid surface or on digester gas. Covers that float on a liquid surface are called floating cover, and those that float on stored gas are called as gas holder. And storage tank. Storage tanks are designed to compensate for fluctuation in production and consumption, for volume change due to varying temperature, and for stagnating consumption. Furthermore, gas holders store gas for later use. And lastly is gas holder. Gas holders are used for biogas storage. It mounted tightly on the roof of the reactor. The gas holder system has a double membrane structure. The external cover dome is made of PVC and produced with special additives that are ultraviolet and precipitation resistant. So they are the five major equipment for our chemical plant.
Now, for environmental consideration, it consists of advantage and disadvantage of biogas. First of all, advantage of biogas is the first one, no net production of greenhouse gas is because carbon dioxide released during biogas combustion was organic plant material. Meanwhile, methane is more severe greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, and capture of biogas as a fuel prevents the release of methane into the atmosphere. The second advantage of biogas is prevent air pollution, since the gas is burned prior to release into the atmosphere, so it will prevent air pollution. The third one is reduce water pollution. It is because in Malaysia there are many lakes and rivers which has become our water source. So with biogas, it will improve water quality and prevent waterborne diseases such as cholera. Now we'll proceed with the disadvantage of biogas. So the first one is biogas is unstable in nature. This because when methane in contact with oxygen, it becomes flammable and vulnerable to explosions. The second one is less suitable for dense metropolitan areas. So biogas plant is suitable to be rural or suburban areas, where the company can get plentiful supplies of waste.
As for the site location, there are three places that we have considered. The first place would be Sungai Rawang in Selangor. Second place is Jenayan Gurun in Kedah, and third will be Kampung Jendrampilly in Selangor. So based on these three locations, we've done a scoring method that would range from bad to good in terms of the characterization of the sites. Now I'm going to start with the first characterization, which is the biomass production availabilities. It is very important to have an abundance of production, as it will provide a more reduction in terms of the transportation and also cut the energy costs. These are the companies that provide the availability to produce a biogas, mainly in Jenayan Gurun Kedah, as it has the most resources in biomass. Firstly, in energy crop, it has this Talico oil palm mill in Kampung Teluk Bahnu, and second would be Jabi landfill in Pokok Senang. As for the food waste, it has Idaman, Sinjaran Berhad.
Okay, now I will continue with the site selection, which is space intensive. The size of our biogas plant must be suitable for the activities performed and also for the amount of biomass supplied, approximately 8,000 meters square. Next, we will continue with the flood and fire protection. Before starting the construction, we must investigate the soil and also the average rainfall received so that it should not be located in a potential flood affected area. And also our biogas plant should have an easy access to a fire rescue department. Next, we will continue with energy availability. Our biogas plant should have an easy access to infrastructure such as to the electricity grid or other potential heat uses such as a heat demanding industry or greenhouses.
Okay, now for climate condition, biogas production is also affected by the weather because the optimal temperature bacteria need to digest waste in fermenter is around 38 until 40 degrees Celsius. So based on the three selected sites that is chosen, all of the site is in Malaysia. So since the weather of Malaysia is also around 38 until 40 degrees Celsius, so it's suitable for the bacteria that need to digest waste in fermenter. Okay, now for the labor supply. Sungai Chorawang has a good labor supply because it's located on the residential area. So the company will hire more local labor to operate the plant because the production of biogas is on a large scale. So it is large and complete equipment to produce biogas. Meanwhile, for the Chenyang Buru, it has a bad local supplier because it's not located on the residential area. So it's quite hard to find a local labor on the site area to produce or operate the plant.
As for the transportation network, it is very important to have access to main road as it requires a steady street supply, and whether there is a safe opening for the street that requires heavy vehicles to run through. And we are very fortunate as we have main road that requires only 37 minutes from Alusta and also 31 minutes from Sungai Petani. The next factor would be public acceptance. The key is that whether the account of smell and noise emission can be avoided, and the site must view possible conflicts with neighboring areas. And it is an advantage if our location is located at the industrial area, as we can actually avoid more conflicts. And we should also take account as to whether there are any residential areas, as it could actually bring an uproar to the society, and if there is any prohibition in the installation of biogas plants.
Process flow for the plant layout. Biowaste will go into the pit, and then will go into the fermenter 1 to 3 to undergo anaerobic digestion. And then the gas will go to the gas holder, and residue will go to the residue storage. The gas will be used as a cooking gas, and the residue will be used as a fertilizer.
Now I will continue with the product layout, which is from the receiving unit, it will go to the mixing tank. From here, it will go to the fermenter, while from the fermenter, it will divide it by 2, which is to the gas reactor, and the other one will go to the follow-up fermenter. From the gas reactor, it will go to the gas holder, and the gas holder will release heat. While from the follow-up fermenter, it will go to the residue storage, and it will produce fertilizer.
So we've done some research on the pricing of the raw materials that are used in the biogas production. Number one is the solid catalyst biogas desulfurization agent iron oxide desulfurizer, which costs about 2,080 ringgit and 39 cents per ton. Bacillus subtilis, which is priced at 13,000 ringgit per ton. Salmonella species, which is sold at 1,146.85 cents per ton, and also acetogens, which is sold at 1,500 per ton. So the selling price of biogas, the current price is 50 cents per ton.
Okay, now we will proceed with the market. The first one is location and size. Our biogas plant is located in Zenia Gurun Kedah in Jalan Kampung Beruna. It is an agricultural land and it's freehold with 12.35 acres, and the price of our land is 1,345,000, and it is 2.50 ringgit per acre with the loan of 30 years, and the interest rate is 4.6%. And lastly, the total that we have to pay per month is 5,516 ringgit. Now we will continue with the global biogas plant market. The global biogas plant market is expected to be driven over the coming years by the support of the government and also by the private bodies in terms of financial incentives. The establishment of the biogas plant in terms of reducing the volume of disposed waste into landfills makes it becoming a strong eco-friendly alternative fuel source. In 2018, the total of biogas plant is 67,690, and it is expected to remain positive from 2019 to 2027. The market's volume is expected to reach 110,354 by the end of 2027. As you can see from this figure, the Asia Pacific expected to remain dominant of biogas. As you can see from this figure, Asia Pacific led the global biogas plant market in terms of biogas plant volume, generation as well as consumption in 2018, with the percentage of 63.10%. This region's biogas market is projected to expand from 2019 to 2027. China, India, Japan, and Australia have so far been the leading nations in terms of generation of biogas in the Asia Pacific. Okay, next, we will go to sales and production trends over the past 5 years. As you can see from this table, this is the sales and production over the past 5 years for 15 countries, which is from the Western and Northern Europe. And for this is the chart for the share of each country in the total production.
Based on the organizational chart present here, I'm going to start with the position and touch a bit on their roles. Firstly will be the project manager, which is me, Zaidi, and then the project manager will be assisted by a project engineer. Under these two main positions, there will be 6 teams formed under them, which is the technical team, construction team, quality team, safety team, human resource team, and last but not least will be the finance team. The formation of 6 teams will be led by a team leader. Under this team leaders, there will be employees for each team. Let's start with the technical team, which will be led by Rozman. Under Rozman, there will be process engineer, electrical and instrumentation engineer, and also mechanical engineer. Second team will be the construction team that will be led by Qamarina Shukri, and it consists of the site civil engineer, site technician, and also the foreman. Construction team is crucial as they measure each design with careful analysis. As for the quality team, it will be led by Binti Azman, that comprise of quality assurance and also quality control engineers. This team signifies more on the satisfactory performance. As for the safety team, it includes health, safety and environment engineer and also health, safety and development engineers. This team is really important as it develops a safe working environment for the employers. Next will be the human resource team that will be led by Aqila Mohamad, which consists of the human resource officer that provide guidelines to the project teams. Last but not least will be the finance team that will be led by Suraya, Anuar, Zaidi, and this team will assist the project in meeting its budgetary limits. This will be the mind map on the biogas production, which mainly consists of the 5 main factors which are develop, analyze, establish, market, perform, and generate. And each of these factors has its own significance.
This is the WBS of the biogas production.
Okay, now we will proceed with project scheduling. The first one is activity or work package duration. This is the most important factors to ensure that the project will be finished on time. As you can see here, this is the phase, and the phase is divided by 5, which is development, analyze, establishment, performance, and market, while on the right side is the duration in months, which is 13, 19, 11, 6, and 6 respectively. Now we will go on with project schedule. Okay, project schedule. This is the specific details of the activity for the phase. As you can see here, on the left side is the phase, while on the middle is the specific activities for each phase, and on the right side is the duration in months for the activities, each of the activities.
Next, we go to critical path analysis. Critical path is performed using the critical path process, or we call it as CPM. Finding the critical path is crucial for control of the project. In CPM, the tasks that fall on the critical path reflect any activity that, if carried out behind schedule, will delay the entire project. That's why critical path is a very important thing that must be considered. Table 3 shows that critical path analysis. The first column is activity, A until L, and the second column is duration in month. The third column is ES, earliest start time. Next one is EF, earliest finish time. Next is LS, latest start time. Another one is LF, latest finish time. And lastly is slack time. Slack time is a amount of slippage in activity start. Okay, next, the figure to show activity on node AON networks. As you can see, this is the AON network for our chemical plant projects. Display the network of critical path analysis, where the purple line indicate the critical activities. And table 4 show network paths with durations. There is 12 paths that we list out, 12 paths, and we choose the first path for our chemical plant because it have the most duration, which is 32 months. So that's why we choose the first pass. The first pass is from A to C to E to F to J to L. Okay, next figure 4 show about Gantt chart. So this is our Gantt chart for our process. We have activity and we have period from first month until 32 months.
Okay, now we process with monitoring and controlling. Project monitoring is important to keep track of all project related, including team performance and task duration. One of the methods is by staff meeting that involve everyone who shares or interested in the project. For example, in chemical plant project, especially in biogas production, it involves a large scale and there are many aspects that need attention during the implementation of the project. So every team member of the meeting need to prepare the information about the progress of the project so that the project manager can report clearly to the company management about the progress of the project. And project manager also can evaluate and update the individual activities. Okay, now we proceed to the second method of monitoring, which is writing a report. So writing a report. Report is an overview of the current progress of the project that may be required monthly or weekly. There are three types of report, which is the first one is the routine report, which lists all available information about the project. The second one is exception report, and the third one is special analysis report to disseminate the results of a special study, including the problems that may be faced during implementation of the project.
Project control is the planning activity in the planning, monitoring, control cycle that involve taking action when deviate from the plan. It is to make sure that the project is in compliance with its objective. One of the methods is post-control method. It is to identify the weakness of the previous project. In short, this method is not to find fault in a project, but to identify the mistake that should be avoided in the future project.
For the budgeting, I'm going to jump straight to the production costs, which consists of raw materials, major equipment, transportation, and also utilities that will give you a sum of this total amount of money.
Okay, next one is capital costs. Capital costs are fixed, one-time expenses incurred on the purchase of land, buildings, construction, and major equipment used in the production. In other words, it is the total cost needed to bring a project to a commercially operable status. Total estimation is made in determining the cost. So, for the calculation for capital cost, is total land plus major equipment plus total construction plus buildings. So for the total land is 1,355,000 plus 363,600 plus 3,960 and plus 4 million for the buildings. So the total capital cost is 5,712,560.
Okay, now for the payback period. Payback period is equal to initial investment over annual cash inflow. So the value of initial investment is 23,372,480% divided by 14,539,503.11 So the payback period is 1.6 years. How we get the value of annual cash inflow is by using the table below. So the value of annual cash inflow is on the year 5.
Every project has to officially end sometime. Project termination need not necessarily mean project failure or premature abandonment. A project may be terminated for a variety of reasons, including successful completion of the endeavor. So project termination is a situation when a given project is supposed to be closed or finalized because there's no more need or sense for further continuation. So there are a few steps in terminating a project. The first step is to confirm whether the work that is being done meets all the requirements. The second step is to complete procurement closure. The third step is to gain formal acceptance from customer. The fourth step is to complete final performance reporting. The fifth step is to archive necessary documents and also the final versions of the project management plans. Number 6 is to update lessons learned. Number 7 is to hand off completed product. So basically, once the project is all completed, the project is handed over for the further use of the end customer. Number 8 is to release the resources, whereby the inputs from the project resources are collected and these resources are then released respectively. Number 9 is to show our gratitude to all of our team members for their effort in making the project successful. So this is a project closeout list. So there are 9 questions on the list. Some of the examples of the questions are the project goals achieved? Have the customers received the products or deliverables? Does the project completion exceeds budgets? Or has the project documentation been archived?
Okay, for the conclusion of our mini projects. Okay, the production and use of biogas plant for domestic purpose can drastically reduce the depletion of natural resources like forests, which are otherwise the prominent and traditional source of energy for cooking gas and fertilizer. So it will be leading to improve our environments. Okay, from the market analysis, it reveals that the biogas production and processing has set a high expectation for Malaysia to become the biogas hub in Asia and as the region leads biogas exporter to the global market. In fact, the potential market for the biogas industry in Malaysia estimate to be 8.3 billion by the year 2022. This proves that the biogas is highly demand from Malaysia. For the global biogas market, the production is increased from 2010 and the trend will be increased until 2022. It shows that biogas is highly demand and marketable not only in Malaysia but also worldwide. Okay, for our chemical plant, it expected to be finished constructed and can be fully operated in 2 years and 8 months time. Okay. Okay, the location chosen for our chemical plant is Jenyang, Gurun, Kedah, which hold the highest value through weighted scoring method, since the location mostly satisfied the new chemical plant's needs and requirement in terms of biomass production availability and space intensive. Okay. So lastly, as we head into the 21st century, awareness and education will most usually continue to be the most important ways to spread use of biogas. Okay, we hope this project will help people to contribute towards the biogas plants and understand it as a better source of energy. Thank you.